There are four ways in which a multinational company can supply its products to a foreign country. Those ways are exports, licensing, joint venture, and foreign direct investment. So, exporting occurs when a company wants to sell its products and services directly in another country. It is perhaps the most well known approach for entering into a foreign market, and it contains the lowest risk. It is said to be a cost effective method as a company is not required to spend any money on manufacturing activities in the selected country because all the products are manufactured in company's home country and then are sent to a foreign countries for sale. However, the transportation costs are growing which are more likely to increase and exporting cost in future. The second one is licensing. So basically it is a contract between two parties in which one party gains permit to use the intellectual property of another party. The party offering the intellectual property is known as licensor and the party accepting the intellectual property is known as licensee. The intellectual property includes the intangible properties such as trademark, production techniques, and patent. In this contract, the licensee pays an upfront fees. It does not demand high level of investment but offers higher return on investment. For example, in 2018, Nestle and Starbucks entered into a $7.15 billion coffee licensing agreement when Nestle agreed to pay $7.15 billion in cash to Starbucks for the exclusive rights to sell Starbucks product. The third one is joint venture. So it's a venture in which two companies set up a jointly owned business. One of the owners will be local to the foreign market. Then two companies will set up a new business with a management team and will distribute the control of a joint venture. There are few advantages of joint venture. The companies already have a local knowledge while entering the foreign market. Also, it enables companies to share cost. However, it also has few disadvantages such as companies might face difficulties in making investment decisions as well as in distributing profit. The fourth one is foreign direct investment. So, foreign direct investment occurs when a company directly makes an investment in facilities in a foreign market. It demands a huge capital to cover expenses such as premises, technology, and staff. FBI can take place either by setting up a new venture or by obtaining an ongoing company. Foreign direct investment (FPI) does not indicate the control of an organization because only 10% of ownership is needed to determine a direct investment relationship. FDI does not focuses on citizenship of a direct investor, but it focuses on the residence of the direct investor. Mergers and acquisition (M&A) activities cover up to 80% of FDI inflows.
Agency theory is a management and economic theory that attempts to explain relationships and self-interest in business organizations. The difference in priorities and interests between agents and principals is known as the principal-agent problem. One particularly famous example of the agency problem is that of Enron. Enron's directors had a legal obligation to protect and promote investor interests, but had few other incentives to do so. The company went under following an accounting scandal that resulted in billions of dollars in losses. Corporate governance can be used to change the rules under which the agent operates and restore the principal's interests. The principal, by employing the agent to represent the principal's interests, must overcome a lack of information about the agent's performance of the task. Agency theory may be used to design these incentives appropriately by considering what interests motivate the agent to act. Incentives encouraging the wrong behavior must be removed, and rules discouraging moral hazard must be in place.
The multinational firm that I have chosen is Amazon. As we all know that Amazon has one of the biggest e-commerce platforms, as they have branched into various categories, it makes it easier for people to shop from various stores on a single platform. Amazon is known as the everything store, as they have all the products available online. Currently, Amazon operates in 14 marketplaces around the world. A few places are Australia, Brazil, Canada, US and UK. Since they operate in 14 countries, they have over 1 million employees working around the world. As we can see on the slide, Amazon has had many mergers and acquisitions, namely Whole Foods, Souq, Twitch, etc. The most recent acquisitions and cross-border mergers made by Amazon are Whole Foods Market. One of Amazon's biggest acquisition is the purchase of the Whole Food Market in 2017. Whole Food Market is an organic store that operates in the United States. This has been the biggest acquisition for Amazon in terms of price and a major setup into bricks and mortar retailing. The second one is Ring. Ring is a Wi-Fi enabled doorbell that streams a live video of a home's doorstep and is also connected to a smartphone or tablet. This helps Amazon to leave packages in customers' houses. This acquisition helped to strengthen Amazon's home offerings. The third one is PillPack. PillPack is a recent acquisition and cross-border merger made by Amazon, as it comes under one of the 10 largest acquisitions made. This helps Amazon as it has expanded into healthcare department.
So moving on to the eighth question. The eighth question is about the World Trade Organization, and it requires a little bit of discussion on which disputes on goods and services have taken place this year. So let's begin with understanding the World Trade Organization. The World Trade Organization is the only international organization dealing with the global rules of trade. Moreover, it facilitates and encourages trade among countries. Its main function is to ensure that the trade flows smoothly, predictably, and freely as possible. So moving on to the disputes that had taken place this year. So our team had visited the website of the World Trade Organization, and we found out that due to COVID and the restrictions in trade, there were only 3 disputes that had existed during the current year. The first dispute was against Brazil for the measures concerning importation of PET film by Peru. The second one was against the European Union for safeguard measures on certain steel products, which was filed by Turkey. And the third one was against Korea for the measures affecting trade in commercial vessels, which was filed by Japan. So on the right hand side, if you can see, there is a screenshot of how a formal complaint or a dispute looks on the website of the World Trade Organization, where it states initially the status and the date of when the complaint was filed, that was 30th January 2020, and the complainant's name, that is Japan, and the respondent's name against whom the complaint was filed, that was Korea. So moving on to a brief summary on the case that we have selected. So the case that we have selected is the case that is filed by Japan against Korea. So the summary of this case is available on the website of the World Trade Organization, and the aim of providing this summary is for the users to understand the issues that were revolving around the dispute that had taken place between these two countries. So on 31st January 2020, Japan had requested consultations with Korea concerning the following measures allegedly affecting the trade in commercial vessels. So there were many issues revolving around the trade in commercial vessels, such as the corporate restructuring, the support to Korean shipbuilders, the guarantees, finance and loans related to commercial vessels. So the main objective of the World Trade Organization is to help settle these disputes